Hey there, fearless gamers. This is Phil, or Stark, or whatever I call myself now on the channel. I don't remember. Saying, how you guys doing? So we've been talking a lot about Infinity on the channel here and there for a while now, but we haven't really shown you guys anything. Since the new N3 rules have been up for about a week or two as of the filming of this, and will probably be up for about a month by the time this goes up. We want to show you what we've been working on, or I want to show you what I'm working on. A couple of us have been working on making Infinity armies for a couple of months now. I've had this army that I'm going to show you in a second for almost, actually probably more than a year. I've had these models, but I finally painted them about 2 to 5 months ago. And they're almost finished. Everyone's painted. They just need some touch-ups. Going to do some base work. So here's a quick review of the models, a little explanation of what I did, and a little a little review of the basing materials I used. So let's get started. For this, I decided to go with the JSA, which is a Japanese sectorial army, which is a subdivision of the Yujing army. So the reason I went with them is because they have a lot of heavy infantry type models, and frankly, I like my heavy infantry, and I like guys with swords, even in sci-fi settings where they don't really make sense in my opinion. So, before we begin, so right up front is one of my heavy infantry, my Domaru heavy infantry. I'm going to put Space Marine next to him for a second, just so you get a size comparison. So, I'm going to stop saying so in a second. Just so you get an idea of how big these models are, this is your standard Space Marine against your standard Infinity model, for those of you who have not seen it. So, Warhammer 40k is in a heroic 28mm scale. Infinity is a more, more realistic scale. You don't have giant hands and feet. Body proportions are pretty much standardized to what is normal for humans. And it makes for a very nice looking model. It has a nice kind of realism to it, especially with the aesthetic they went with. So just to give you an idea about how big these guys are. So, this guy's going away now. Whoosh. Okay, so, I went with a kind of a green and beige art style on these guys. I also wanted to make more of very little use of metallics. I want things to look more ceramic overall. So, also the blue eyes. Obviously this is more tabletop quality. I'm not a very good painter, so I can't do that higher end stuff. But I'm sure with the other people on this channel who can paint well, you'll see some cool things. Again, I was going for more of a main olive drab or dark green, some khaki, some whites. Just a general basic color scheme based on some classic army design colors. Swords on everyone's this white body for the sheath, kind of a beige khaki for the guard and wrap, which also will match the cloth. On most of them, soft parts are in like a khaki, hard parts in green and white, glowy blue eyes. Pretty standard for me. Other thing used, right here, this base is not finished obviously, that's the one thing I really got to work on. This is by Anti-Optics. These are their resin tri-hex bases. Really wanted something that said sci-fi urban, and what says sci-fi better than not standard squares for your urban background. I don't know. And I didn't want to go anything too complicated, so very basic bases. And also I'm trying out their etched brass facing bars. I feel they're pretty important for Infinity since facing is a big deal. I don't want my opponents to ever question which way my guys are facing. So I threw these on. They have nice detail on them. I look forward to painting them. They were kind of hard to get on here, just because you have to get them nice and curved around the edge. To do that, I tamped them down using the back end of my X-Acto blade so I wouldn't get my fingers stuck, which I did anyways. So I started centered, right there, glue there, and then slowly pushed down the edges with the back of the X-Acto blade. Also, if you can see, I drilled a little hole so everyone's got a little bit of a pin in their foot. Most of the pinning was made just by snipping down their little tab and putting the, one little bit of that left through the base. So some of them I had actually paperclip pinned, which should work fine. Base has nice quality, nice soft resin, looks very good detail-wise, should be easy to paint. Edge brass is nice. Big complaint about Anti-Optics, or however you say their name, I'll put the name in the description because I cannot spell or pronounce anything lately, is they sell their bases in groups of 12, which is great, but these little brass bars, they sell in groups of 10, so it's kind of that traditional hot dog problem of you have 12 bases but 10 bars, so I don't have a bar on each one of my guys that I painted, which is kind of annoying, so I have to get more of those. Anyways, moving on. Where's my hand? There it is. So, this is his twin. So they don't have a lot of model style differences in Infinity still. They're getting there. This is basically the same model, same paint scheme. I'm going to add a little symbol here, a little rising sun on the shoulder pads. I haven't done that for anyone yet. That's kind of like the last thing I always do in every army, is those little detail bits. But it's the same basic model, same basic paint job. I made sure they're a little different because one of these guys is usually going to be my lieutenant, so I want to be able to tell them apart. And then my last of my Domaru heavy infantry is this lovely lady. So you can also see a difference between male and female armors. For most part, they keep things pretty standard. They don't go too over the top, though this high heel is a little annoying. I don't like high heels on my female armor because that is stupid. You cannot fight effectively in something with a wedge shoe. Just saying. Anyways, otherwise the armor is nice, very similar to the male. Looks good, great mold. A little hard to paint these guys, obviously, because they're much tinier than 40k guys, but that's just something you have to train yourself to get used to. It's not a big deal. Also, this is the first time I used P3 paints. Was painting this army, and overall I think they were very nice. Here we go, here's my next set of heavy infantry. So this is the Haramaki heavy infantry. Similar, you can see the helmet's a little different. They got hakamas on, or the traditional Japanese skirt pants, if you want to use a more basic descriptor term. Unfortunately, I already knocked a bit off of this one right here, so I have to repaint that. They have a little over-shoulder projectile system that I knocked off accidentally when transporting them. Again, for the weapons, it didn't come out great, but I was trying to make it look not metallic. There's a little bit of metal here, but it's mostly white with like a green shading there to kind of give an idea of that some kind of sci-fi weapon. Because in the future of Infinity, all these weapons have all sorts of weird special abilities, like explosive gels coursing through their edges and stuff, so I want them to look more like ceramics or energy weapons or all sorts of non-standard traditional metal blades. And I think it comes out nicely. It doesn't look great all up close, but, you know, from here, I don't think that looks that bad. This one looks a little bit better for that effect, at least from a distance. Again, you have the little edging color, and I just forgot the name of what that's called. Haman. The Haman color, that little wavy thing on the end of a lot of katanas. Again, here's that projectile system that didn't get knocked off on this guy. Again, I wanted a uniform color scheme that was very reminiscent of traditional army colors, which is why I went with that green, that dark olive drab, and that khaki, which I think came out very nicely. Another dude. Again, standard blade thing, though you can't see it too well there. Just kind of misted it a couple different colors. Doing the coils for the power armor, because you can see I have like coiled synthetic muscle there. I tried out a couple different things on a couple different units, for a mixture of just black with some edging, some dry brushing of metal, to using two different types of black, getting different colors. Still haven't found quite what I liked, but, you know, it works. One more guy, so he has this big old smudge of highlighting on his head, which doesn't look great up close, but from like here or further away, it actually looks kind of natural enough that I think it looks nice tabletop wise. Again, I paint for tabletop quality, not for, you know, awards or anything. I can't paint that well. I don't have the patience, nor the skill, nor the steady enough hands. Again, I made sure to leave I kind of was smudgy with the eye color, because I wanted to look a little bit like it's glowing from a distance. So they all have this kind of this light blue aura on the top of their helmet, just from the glowy blue eyes. I went with blue just because I didn't want anything too shocking color-wise. It was already pretty neutral / cool color / earthy colors. I didn't want to add any really hot spots of warm colors, except for right here they all have this dark red banding on their katanas, or their daisho, since it's two swords. But again, I didn't want to make it too obvious, and I didn't want to make it pop too much, so I kept it very dull. Again, this is like the only point there's real metallics on any of these guys, just the muzzle here and the back bit of this rocket launcher. Kept it very simple. Really just wanted to focus on these things. So, a couple more models left, all these sitting in the back. This is probably my MVP right now. This is my doctor, or he can be an engineer also. This model can represent either or. Had a little bit of fun making all the little colors here, since there's some non-standard colors for this color scheme on here with the leathers from all the belting. Figuring out what color to make this little meta pack or whatever that is. Again, very useful model in the game. In Infinity, just in general, you can build whatever kind of list you want, but you should have some kind of support units in there, some kind of either medic, doctor, engineer, hacker, all of the above, whatever. For now, I'm just using a medic. If I was facing more anti-electrical weapons, I probably would use an engineer, but right now he's fine. Just for my others, so this is my other light infantry. This is my ninja. Again, I just want something that popped, that wasn't too crazy, keeping with the cool colors on her. White hair or beige hair kind of to match the rest of the army, otherwise just blues, dark off blue blacks. Didn't go too crazy with the detailing on anything on her, just because I really didn't know what to do with it. I was like, it's a ninja, it should be in black. Just made sure I had some pop colors so you can see her nicely and she looks cool. I kind of messed it up. I kind of cut off parts of both of her feet when setting her up. I didn't realize right here where her foot ended and where the base began when I was setting up the model, so I cut off half her foot. And on this side, it was just a lot of issues getting her set up right and cleaning off the bottom so it was flat, and I might have lost some bits. Again, really cool model. I like that a lot of the ninjas are just faceless. They have this kind of Cobra Commander mask on. It looks cool. Enough said on that. And the last model I did was an Oniwaban, which is just a ninja who likes to kill. I think this guy's the one who I did the best job on the Hakama. It's got a lot of depth to it, has a nice color to it. His head I left very, very blank because the mold was honestly kind of messed up. So I didn't really want to draw too much attention to it, so I just left it white with some shadowing, nothing too crazy. I wanted him to be different from everyone else, which is why he's got that nice red body glove on. And then the red and white sword, since he's got this monofilament blade, which is basically, you know, a lightsaber, rules-wise in this game, cuts through everything. Instant death weapon. You also see I screwed up on putting his little facing thing on here, so I'm either going to rip this off, probably, or just try to repaint it. Again, have to do some touch-up work after I based them. I did not drill all the way through on him. There we go. Somewhere under his foot is a peg to keep him in place. I think it's under his back foot. Again, cool model. The quality of the sculpt on the head was kind of messed up, so again, that's why I made sure not to draw attention to it. But I think it works having that kind of blank white with the red, black, and khaki. Has a nice depth to him, a nice dynamic pose. Overall, I can only say positive things about Infinity. The game rules have been really great so far. Make sure to start slow. There's plenty of information on their forums, on their main website, about how to start the game and not use all the rules by the way and slowly build up to their full-size game. Right now, Matt the Clown, our friend Robin, and I have been practicing at about 300 points. And just to give you an idea of what a 300-point game is, let me pull together my 300-point army. The nice thing about Infinity is that it's a small game. You don't really need a lot of models to start. So right here, this 10 model group, that's not 10 models, this 10 models. That is my main 300-point army. A standard game of Infinity is either 150, 300, and I think people go into 450 now in the tournament rules. But 300 is a good solid game size. I see a lot of lists in that level. And that's what this is. Now, again, it's about your list, a lot of people say, not about, well, no, it's about how you play, not about your list, a lot of people say. Of course, if you build a very unbalanced list, it could be bad. So this list is almost all heavy infantry. So it's just all about hitting you really hard in the face. I mean, there's 5 heavy infantry in the first line, and then 3 in the back. So there's 8 heavy infantry, which is a ridiculous amount for this game. A ninja, who's really just my evil assassin, and then a doctor is my only support unit in this group. Against, again, different opponents. If someone was playing a lot more hackers and stuff, I'd probably have my doctor be an engineer just to help restart my heavy infantry if they get shut down. It's just a fun list to play around with. I've already made like 15 other lists, because this game is really easy to make lists for, and I have other models I have not shown you because I haven't painted them yet. It's a great game. It's a cheap game. Some people are concerned that I've talked to, like, well, how's the game going to work in the long run since you only need like 10 to 14 models to play? And it comes down to is just you try out different factions, you buy a new model here and there. Like this is my main group right here, right? These 10 guys, but I switch in my Oni Waban whenever I can because I think he looks cool. And I have some light infantry I'm working on to add in, so I'm not always playing a stupid amount of heavy infantry, which again is cool, but it also limits you since I have very little support and I have very little fire support. Like my only fire support for the most part, it is front line of guys, and they're really supposed to be my main assault unit, but they got big old rocket launcher, missile launcher here, and that's just fun. You always need to think about in Infinity about how to support your guys, either through medics or engineers, how to take down the opponent, either through range support, and range support is important, especially if a close range army like I do, so I really should be feeling more missile launchers, heavy machine guns, grenade launchers, smoke grenades, all those kind of things that support my units moving forward, and also give them covering fire. How are you going to support your assassin units if you're using things like that, like my very friendly ninjas and Oni Waban? How am I going to support them moving forward? You know, in general, you have to think about support more than anything else. And then hackers, which are going to be a big thing in N3. They're making them more important, which is good because hackers are cool. I look forward to them. The last thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a tag to give you an idea of how big they are. So I have an Oyuroi that is not painted yet. So I'm just going to throw him up front here. I'm going to zoom back as much as I can. So obviously he's not painted, he's not based. The Oyuroi is one of the tallest tags in the game, though he isn't that much taller than the rest of them. And just to give you a size comparison about how big these guys are. So your standard infantry model is about up to his knee. And they have great detail, great dynamic poses. You are going to have to pin their feet down on pretty much all of the tags, because they're not going to sit nicely on any base, and they're all kind of heavy, since they're full metal. But you can see how big he is compared to a 40k model, and a standard Infinity infantry model. There we go. He's big, he's got some nice details, which you probably can't see since he's all glossy right now, because he's all metal. They're pretty easy to put together. They put together about as well as War Machine models when it comes to having dynamic kind of fits for a lot of the bits. But they have great details. Should be fun to paint. Again, most Infinity models have solid molds, very good mold quality, very good consistency and quality control. Very rarely have I seen a piece not come out looking good. I've only had one bad model really so far, not including the Oni Waban's kind of messed up face. So, okay, 2 models out of, I don't know, maybe 20, so 10% of the models I've seen haven't been great, and that's actually kind of a high number. It's probably less than that, looking at all the stuff that Matt the Clown has, our friend Robin, what Matt the Vet's picking up. I'm sure I'm the only one that has bad molds, because I'm also using older models. Infinity's always producing new stuff. I think you guys should definitely check it out. We'll be putting new information and new content up as the months go by. You should be seeing some army showcases from the rest of the group as we complete stuff. Probably a couple of painting videos as some people paint them. I'm not a great painter, and I've been moving around a lot lately, which is why I didn't show you guys me painting them, because I was painting on like a folding table in a room with poor lighting for the past 2 months. Anyways, but expect more Infinity content from us soon. Tell us if you play, what you do play, what you plan to play. We love to hear about what you guys are doing with this game, if you like it, if you don't. Any questions about the game that you think we can answer. Though honestly, if you got questions, check out Infinity the Game website, check out their forum, check out the Penny Arcade forum, because I know that's where we have been going for a lot of answers for the game. Those guys have been a great help in general, so thanks to you guys. You can't see my thumbs up. Thanks to you guys over at Penny Arcade for helping out with the rules for this game. We're really enjoying it so far. Please check out the N3 rules, which are free PDF right now on the main Infinity website. And they'll pretty much always be free on their website. It's a great thing about their business model is that they let you see the rules for free so you can know if you want to play the game. You already know you're going to buy the models, but let's see if you want to play the game, right? So, until next time, fearless gamers, take care. 3, 2, 1, goodbye.